Morning all, and welcome to a rather wet and rainy Saturday morning. Was going to come over, do some digging, but obviously that's out the window now. So I think what I need to do is first get the kettle on, then I'm going to be putting the rotivator back together. So join me in a bit to see how I get on. Right, that's that bit done. All in, hooked on, and it does move backwards and forwards. I put a little bit of music in there for the simple reason there was a few chosen, well selected words while trying to put that in there, which I didn't want to share with you. Anyway, on to the next bit. We pop that on the top of there, like so, line it up, secure it in with 4 bolts. Now at some point one of the bolts just fell out, so there was only 3 holding it, so I've got myself another bolt, put that in. The hole in there goes all the way through, so the length doesn't really matter too much, as long as it's not excessively long. Pop them in there. Always put bolts in first by hand, because if you put one in, do it up, you can guarantee that the other 3 won't line up. Like so. And then just tighten them down, a little bit on each, not one bolt, then that one, then that one, little bit on each, so that sits down on the head of the engine nice and tight. So for the next bit, we're going to be setting up the inside of the cogs. So I don't know if you can see that, but in there there's a little bit of a groove. So we first pop that in there, like so. Got to get it the right way round, and it shouldn't fall out. Now there's only one way this can go on. That's the first pulley. The other pulley is attached to the base unit, and the belt goes around the two like so. Does help if you put the right size bolt in. Now this will work hard, work tight, and as you use the machine. What I want to do, that's it, still in there, good. Tighten that off, that's good, right. That's now in. Now the little bar that we put in there to stop the engine turning round so we can do this up, we now have to take out. Don't forget to take that out. Okay. That will now turn freely on its own. You can hear the air going through it. Like so. Now we need to put this on the base unit with the belt. So I'll go and get the base unit, get it set up. I'll back in a sec. Right, we just set that down on there. You can see all that, the main engine, the bit set up. Here's the other cog with the belt on. Now what I need to do is to get that cog over that belt and that housing around the outside of there, which I think is going to be a bit of a challenge. So I'm going to play a bit of music while I do it, in case there's a few chosen words that you don't want to hear. Well, it's on, and it wasn't straightforward either. So we'll stick the bolts in there. That's all housed down, and then we'll rebuild all the handles, connect the clutch cable up to the handle. And I think we're nearly there. We just put these bolts in hand tight. Make sure that plate is properly down. Double check. Make sure that the belt is on and it hasn't moved. Other side. There you go, that's that done. Next I'm going to swing this round, like so. Over that there. I'm going to set up the handle side of things. I'll go and get my handles. I'll be back in a sec. Missed a bit. Forgot to put the housing on. Right, so the housing sits on there, so you need to poke that through there. That will also sit on there like so. I'm doing opposite corners because if you tighten one side up, it may tend to want to go that way. So if you do opposite corners, it tends to keep it flat. Right, there you go. I'm going to crack on, get the handles on. Okay, that's one handle on with the clutch cable. What I've had to do, take the handle off, take the bolts out, line that in and bolt it all back together. Bolt the handle on there and the connecting piece there. Now I don't know if you can see this, it actually moves the way it should do. So that goes backwards and forwards, tightens up the belt, and it should, with a bit of luck, all work. But while trying to put this other handle on, I've snapped a piece of this. Doesn't stop me bolting the handle on. Need to get a bit of glue and just stick that back together. So, got my little bolts, my nuts. We'll just slip that in there for now. Like so. Little bugger doesn't want to go in. Let's try the top one first. Here's a little bit of a fiddly job. Here we go. We're using nylock nuts. They're the ones with the little plastic in the top. Just so it gives it a nice firm hold. It's all done up. Right, that's that. I'm just going to pop in the other shed, get some oil, get some petrol, and we'll fill this up. Before we put any petrol or oil in it, there's a couple of little bits I need to do. First I need to put the oil filter back on, air filter, should I say. So we pop that in there. So, now where the other shed was, where this is housed, was broken into a few years ago. And they slung everything everywhere. And that's why I've had to do a little makeshift job on this. Because where they threw this, we actually smashed all that, so a little makeshift job. That's that. Now for the fuel line that's been repaired. I'll slide that in now, put the clip on first, slide that in through there. That on there. Do it the other way, might be a bit easier. Right, so that's fitted on there. Put the little clip on there, like so. That's it on the tank. And do up a little Jubilee clip that's on there. Like so. Now it's ready for the petrol and the oil. Right, I think one of the last three things to do is get some petrol in. after that. And put some oil in it. Now when I start this up and start moving it around the plot, I will have to adjust the clutch cable. Down there. Well, excuse me. I will have to adjust the clutch cable just to bring it into line so it's all nice and tight and works properly. Ooh. Bit too quick there. And all we'll let that soak in, let it fill up the reservoirs in the bottom. Then we'll put the dipstick back in and just check it, make sure there's enough in there. And then it's ready for its test run. See if all the waiting, it's been worth it. Catch you in a bit. And what a difference a week makes. As you can see, all the weeds are back up again. A little bit of sun, a little bit of rain, and off they go. There's all my brassicas waiting to go into the cage. And there it is, all put back together. So let's have a go, turn it over and see if it works. I'll pop you on the tripod over there. It could be a little bit noisy as this pump's at 93 decibels, but we'll see if it works. Well, I'm glad that the rotivator works again. It was pleasing to know. I think the only other thing I want to do today is to get the netting on my Brassica cage. The clouds are coming over a little bit dark, so I'm going to push on with this. And I'll catch up with you when I'm done. There you go, Brassica cage all done. Got a bar along the bottom of the netting there, so it can roll up onto the top, and the sides are held in with 3 clips either side. Just swinging it across there, and the same on that side. Brassica's all in there, ready to go out. They'll be going out in the morning. Time's getting on now, so I'm going to go home, have something to eat. The rotivator works a treat, so I'm absolutely well happy with that. We've had a little run round on here, give it a good dig over with the rotivator, so everything's looking good. So I'll be back in the morning, to do some planting.